Okay, so apparently I can change on my iPhone the little setting at the top right or top left, depending on how you have the iPhone oriented. Well, I changed it to high definition, 30 frames per second. So if you click on 30 frames per second, basically you can switch from 60 frames per second, giving it more like a realistic type of motion. And if you click on 4K, it switches between HD and 4K. So I actually didn't know that that little small area of the screen could, you could just change them, just those small numbers like that. I figured that you just press the whole thing and it just kind of cycles through, but apparently not. But now I found that out. I found this interesting video entitled College Dropout Turned CEO on Why Millennials Have Crypto Investment Advantage. But this actually has a lot of good information. This is on Fox Business, by the way. So let me actually play it. It's only 7 minutes long, but it has some good information. Everything this younger guy on the right, well, you don't see any young people right now, but there will be a younger guy that appears on the right, and what he says really makes a lot of sense. So here goes.
Those who invest in cryptocurrencies, again, they'd have a funny way of showing it. They're all up, and they have been up. Over the last month, they're recouping about a third of the ground that was lost. Grant Leonard joins us right now, the MIT Group CEO, the MIT Blockchain CEO, very big in Bitcoin mining, the process by which a lot of these Bitcoins are entered into circulation. Grant, I was thinking of you and fascinating your background and how you looked at this as a promising avenue before many did. And then lo and behold, I'm reading USA Today, and there's this, full pell-mell push among millennials in particular, diving into the crypto craze. Does that worry you when it gets to be that frothy?
Yeah, so I mean, it's unbelievable what's happening. Obviously, you guys have seen it as well. And kind of what he was talking about earlier as far as regulation and things like that, everybody that's in the crypto space, they'd be lying to you if they didn't tell you that they knew it's coming. And I think good regulation would actually be pretty good when it comes to crypto, because there is bad scams, there is bad things. But what I think's happened is, like they were mentioned earlier, is this is going to become a $2 trillion business and maybe even potentially a $10 trillion business. And when it gets that big as far as financial markets across the country, it's almost in essence too big to fail. And good regulation can work good, but that's just going to essentially, in my opinion, just prove the legitimacy of where crypto is going in the future.
Grant, I get the impression, though, that at least if the SEC chief had his way, he'd kill this in the crib. And to your point, it's no longer in the crib. At least it's at the toddler menacing stage. I'm just wondering if it's too late to shut it down. If that indeed is his goal, I'm just cynically of the view. But what do you make of it?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think it's too late. And when you have some of the most powerful people in the world, and now Wall Street's into it, which I think is almost eliminates the SEC or anybody else from stopping it, but also some of the biggest companies worldwide. You have countries adopting it. I think it's only a matter of time, and it's a shift, because we haven't seen this ever in the financial systems.
Exactly.
And so
when you say Wall Street's into, I'm sorry, Grant. When you say Wall Street's into, you're talking about the push for ETFs, that sort of thing, investment vehicles through which you can capitalize on this. Of course, that needs SEC approval itself, and in this environment, I wonder if they get that. But what do you make of it?
For sure. I mean, but also hedge funds, right? So now hedge funds are opening up where can start investing into it. And it started off, 3 years ago, it was just the crazy people on the internet, right? And what happened now is, people like Mark Cuban and
crazy
a whole heck of a lot of other big-time people were completely, not necessarily against crypto, but they didn't think it was legitimate. They didn't think it was here to stay. And it's so interesting that those exact same people who are smart business people realize, you know what? I think I was wrong, and I think this is here to stay, and I think it has a tremendous amount of power worldwide. I told this story to someone just recently. I was trying to make just a $5,000 purchase, which is a decent purchase, but my debit card was declining it, even though I had enough money on it. It just said it couldn't do that amount. But at the same time, I could send Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any other digital currency to anywhere in the world within 5 minutes instantly without having to go through any different, banks or anything like that.
We all know 5 minutes ain't going to cut it. We all know 3 seconds is going to cut it. You already know what cryptocurrencies I'm talking about. Nobody's stupid on this channel.
So that's the power of it, and I think it's going to go worldwide even more, and I think it's here to stay.
What is holding the price of all of these cryptocurrencies back? Now, they've appreciated from their lows, but they're still, in the case of Bitcoin, not exactly at the 60+ thousand it was at, at the start of the year.
That is okay.
There's this concern
Just
where this is going, because offsetting that are companies like AMC saying we'll accept payment in Bitcoin, more of these Bitcoin ATMs
AMC,
emerging.
AMC, the stock. I'm glad that's doing better because, with the virus hitting, it did take a plunge. I actually got it when it was $9, but it started to go to like $8, and I fudded out. Now it's like $30. But yeah, AMC, a lot of these companies like Delta, a lot of these companies are real skinny right now, but I hope the best of them. And it's good that they're looking into cryptocurrencies. They're doing what's best for their company.
Right.
Some sort of street cred, but how do you play this out as an investor?
Yeah, so I look at this as, if you look at Bitcoin's cycle, these big drop-offs is no surprise. So if you got a new crypto investor, it is about the scariest thing ever. But when you're investing into crypto, in my opinion, it's completely different than investing to the stock market. And what you got to do is, if you're going to invest on it, you have to be investing in the long run. Because if you just look at just sheer valuation, I think Bitcoin just cleared $1 trillion valuation. If it only matches gold, which I'm not sure exact, gold I think is at $9.5 trillion total market cap. If it only matches that market cap, that would put Bitcoin well over $300,000 per Bitcoin.
That right there. That is a key word. What he just said. Cryptocurrencies, don't buy to wait for it to go up and say, "Oh, I'm gonna take profits and do all that." If you know it's a utility coin, just leave the coin there. Leave it there. Trust me, it's not worth taking out a few $100 to $1,000 of, when the thing is going to go up and up and up and up. Don't even worry about stop losses. With cryptocurrencies, you want to hold. It's not like the stock market where you can just, you have a range. Cryptocurrencies are fairly new. Stock market, you have a range dating back to when a company started. So you can kind of see the trends on the chart of how a stock operates. But with cryptocurrencies, like, what's that one channel? Night something. I forgot the name of it. Late night. That channel where the guy talks about late night grind, where he talks about crypto. Market cap doesn't really mean anything, and he would probably be able to explain it more. Market cap doesn't really mean anything in the cryptocurrency market. One moment it could be one thing, like I knew what happened to me with Ethereum, $200, and I'm like, oh, let me get back in it when it drops just a little bit on the dip. Next thing you know, it's $1,000 into like $4,000. So you can't really do that with cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies can just spike overnight. You'll wake up saying, XRP went to 14 to 150 at the end of the year, like everybody's talking about. Oh yeah, I got my money out and I'm going to wait for the dip to buy it. And as soon as they flip the switch, or as soon as they have regulatory clarity or drop the case, whether it's good or bad, then you're gonna sell out, and you're gonna wake up in the morning, you're gonna see that it's, let's say if it's $14, you're gonna see that it's like 16. It's gonna jump up, and it's gonna go up and up and up and up to the point where you can't really afford to buy in. You pretty much lost out. So you're better off with the many coins you got, even if you bought it way when it was like 10 cents or whatever. Just keep the coins in there until it reaches the goal where you're financially free, and you could do something like trade options, and you could just literally compound the earnings that you make until you make your own millions on the side of XRP. But yeah, these are long-term investments, like you said. If it does reach the cap of the market cap of gold, the Bitcoin itself and all other coins are going to go up many tens of hundreds of times. And that's just not the end of it. Bitcoin is an asset. Utility coins, these are the dawn of the utility coins, because like someone else said on their channel, I think Digital Perspectives, once these coins do go to their higher highs, people are going to think $15 is a good price. And then, everybody under that is going to just be laughing all the way to the bank while these people are FOMOing in, helping our balance to go up. But yeah, cryptocurrencies, don't try to, you do whatever you want, but don't try to sell high and buy low. It's a long-term investment, because these things are going to go very high, especially with the utility, the ISO 20022 coins. they definitely, if they have utility, especially if they're moving a lot of money around the world, they definitely will be thousands of dollars. Might even beat across Bitcoin because it's actually a coin with utility. And Bitcoin will still be high, but these coins could be higher. Like, for instance, Bitcoin go to 60,000, they can go back to 38,000. XRP in the long run, in the end game, in 7 years, 10 years, could be 50,000, and it will not budge because it has utility. But Bitcoin goes up, down, and does whatever it wants. But utility coins, because the more and more things or institutions, banks and stuff adopt it, it's going to go to a certain price, it's going to go up, but it's going to waver, but it's not going to drop back because these, institutions buy into it. So yeah, basically what he's saying is hold your crypto. Keyword, hold it. Just hold it. Just actually put it in there and act like you are so broke that you never were able to afford crypto in the first place. Keep working your job, take the money off of that, keep throwing some in there, and like he's going to mention, throw some in there over time, and find other ways to save on the side. Just act like your crypto doesn't exist. Put it in a wallet, a hardware wallet, and just put it in the closet, in a vase, something where you don't even access it, basically. And then check it in like 5 years.
And so you have to think about, obviously we have a financial...
around 46, so you're saying around $47,000 now per coin. That it has the potential of getting over 300,000 based on what, a similar gold trajectory?
Yeah, we look at it as essentially digital gold. And so if you look at the power of it, because if you look at just major fiat currencies like the yen or like the euro, the US dollar, but when you take into effect all the other countries throughout the world, they don't have as powerful of a currency as maybe those three currencies and maybe a few others. And so I think we're going to see the landscape of the way money works change, because it's going to become way more of a world economy, because you know this is we can pick up the phone and talk to any single person in the entire world instantaneously through the internet. Now we're able to essentially do the same with money. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
What do you and how do you advise then, Grant, guys who want to be like you? You were brave doing this when no one was, to your credit. But there are a lot of people here, so you're successful. Oh, I can do what Grant did. What do you tell them, and how much money you, for want of a better term, risk? But how you play this?
Yeah, absolutely. So for anybody that's trying to do it, I would say is number one, bet on yourself. Two is every single question to almost nearly any answer that you could ever want is now in the palm of your hands with your phone. So like I built like one of the fastest growing solar companies in the state of Texas. And a lot of the principles and things I learned from it was directly from the internet and then applying it. Same thing with crypto is that's why we're seeing a lot of the younger generation on it. Maybe the older generation now they're kind of getting around to it because millennials are glued to their phones, they're glued to the internet, they're glued to social media, and they're seeing what's happening. So in some form, they are a little bit ahead of the game. So I would say invest in yourself, bet on yourself, and make sure that you are taking advantage of all the new industries that are being created and, staying in tune with it and staying up to date with it and applying those things. And as far as how much you should invest, absolutely do not need a lot of money to invest in crypto. I would recommend 10% or less of your portfolio or the money that you're willing to lose. I feel way more confident than telling someone that, but on the worst case, I would say minimum 10% and just slowly buy over time.
You're very seasoned for a young guy.
Slowly buy over
time. You get the big picture. Grant, it was great talking to you. Thank you very, very much.
He knows what's up. He's like, you get the big picture.
Enjoy the show. Thank you so much.
He knows what's up.
Thank you. And
Cinderella, do you want to go to that ball?
Yeah. So basically, based off the words and things that they were using, they both pretty much are talking about up-to-date things. They pretty much know what's going on, regulatory clarity. They're talking about XRP in the background. But of course, Bitcoin is what's going to be highlighted because it's the coin that obviously is the most popular right now. But deep down with where the utility lies, although it's not on the surface yet, they don't really talk about it. When it does come out more in the public, it was on the channel. They did show it, at least they showed it on that little teleprompter thing. But once it does actually go to the public more, they're going to start talking about XRP like they did in 2018, like they did last year before the SEC lawsuit. If you go to their website, look at all the companies saying Ripple, XRP, Ripple this, Ripple that. And not to mention there's other coins too, but you have to give it to Brad Garlinghouse. Brad Garlinghouse is legitimate, professional, transparent. He, has a good personality, shows himself. He's not hidden. Like, you can't go wrong that Ripple has to be one of the first properly regulated cryptos, and all the others will follow suit. Because once it does get its regulatory clarity, then yeah, if you're holding XRP and you're holding a good bit, you're gonna be smiling in years to come. Like, I wouldn't touch it. Seriously, if you do the math of waiting till it go high and then trying to buy in low, and then doing that over time, you're just better off holding it, because you might just screw up and then sell it and then you buy back in, and you're basically losing the amount that you have by buying back in. So that's basically the video for today.